So the learning agenda for today is we are going to see why are web applications targeted a lot. Then we are going to understand the BWAP application. BWAP application is also known as broken web application. And this is a vulnerable application, which is a very good tool for you guys to understand and see that how ethical hacking is done. Then we will also talk about OWSP. OWSP is an open standards for security practices, and we are also going to see that how OWSP help you in understanding the concepts of ethical hacking and also providing some. All right, why you should learn BWAP? Why, as an ethical hacker, you should focus on the BWAP? So when we are talking about BWAP, actually we are talking about 70 different, more than 70 different web application bugs, which is very huge. If you just go and see that what kind of different bugs are present with the whole channel, you will notice that there are a lot many bugs with BWAP, and you can learn a lot with this BWAP application. And this is the main thing. Take it as your Bible, take it as your Wikipedia, Gita, or Quran, or take it as anything. But this is the base for a security professional. That once you go into ethical hacking, once you go into network security, cyber security, or any kind of security, OWSP is your helping guide. The second thing which we are going to use is Kali Linux. Why we are using Kali Linux? Kali Linux is mainly operating system which is focused on security. So all the tools are pre-installed with Kali Linux. If I go and install Kali Linux at my own end, I will see that everything is already pre-installed. I don't need to install most of the tools. Kali Linux, for example, have Burp Suite. Burp Suite is the one which is used for monitoring the traffic and also carrying out a brute force attack. Then we have Metasploit, SQL Map, W3AF, Nmap, Wireshark. You saw the working of Nmap in the first lecture. Then Wireshark is also similar to Burp Suite. We have SQL Map if you want to carry out some SQL attacks. So everything is already present with the Burp Suite. So it's very easy for us to use. And we will see in the demonstration that what different things are and how these things are presented with the Kali Linux. Finally, now let's go to the demonstration. So those are some of the basic things. We are going to run with the BWAP application and use the Kali Linux. So let's go to the demonstration and see 3 different attacks over the same. So here I'm using VirtualBox. So I'm using VirtualBox to set up the whole process. Currently with VirtualBox, what I'm doing in here is that I am actually using 2 machines. One is a Kali Linux and the second one is OWSP. OWSP is acting as a server for me. So this is holding the BWAP, which we talked about, the broken web application, and Kali Linux is acting as a client for me. So this is the one where I'm going to try to do the hacking and see how the things are work and develop security for the same. So that's the main configuration for us: VirtualBox, OWSP as the server, Kali Linux as the client. I'm not going into the process of installing the same because then our whole day will be actually spent against the installing process. So just Kali Linux, OWSP. One more thing which is important with this, that both these machines should be in the same network. So they should be present in the same LAN network, and that's how we are going to access them. Make sure that you never enable internet on this machine, OWSP. This is a vulnerable machine. If you enable internet, what is going to happen that the other attackers or hackers who are just kind of like browsing across the network, they might be able to notice that you have enabled internet, and this is a vulnerable application. There are a lot of security issues with this, and people or attackers might be able to attack your system through this, although you can enable internet over Kali Linux. So these should be in the same LAN network. So you have to make sure that. How to do that? You can go ahead and set up a host network adapter using host network manager, and from there go to the settings, and under settings, under network, just set up the host only adapter which you created. So this will set up the process with the same LAN network. So let's go ahead. I already have both the machines running right now. So this is my Kali Linux. Let's open this. And this is my broken web application server which is running here. So currently the broken web application server is running on 192.168.56.107. I can also verify this from my Kali Linux. If I open the terminal, I can just go ahead and search if config, and this will give me the IP address of my machine. So you see this is the IP address of my machine right now, 192.168.56.102, and this is for the server. So both are in the same network, so that's why I'm able to access the machines from there. If config is deprecated in the newer versions of Kali, and if you are running a newer version of Kali, you might need to use IPA, which is used for just getting the same details about the IP address here. So that's the basic setup. This is the server which is running. Under broken web applications, there are many projects present, but currently we are focused on only one of the projects, which is BWAP. So let's start up the BWAP here. So this is the home page for your broken web application. This is an extremely buggy web application, and this utilizes many vulnerabilities here. So let's go ahead, let's try out, let's just see how the whole process works. Let's try out the first vulnerability here regarding the broken authentication. So the first vulnerability, broken authentication, insecure login forms. Let's click on hack. So here we have set up our security level as low for now, because we are learning the process, and you can go ahead and set up the security process as medium and high. So for now, just for the learners behavior to see how the ethical hacker works, we have set up this process. So now you see that there is a basic login form available to us where it is saying that enter your credentials, login and password, and then it is giving me a login button here. So if you remember, in the last lecture we discussed about some of the steps which you might follow as an ethical hacker. So the first step under this is try the happy cycle. So let's go ahead and try the happy cycle here. So let's try anything. Let's run admin and admin here. Try to see what is happening. So I get invalid credentials here. So next thing, I'm able to see that happy cycle is just giving me some error. Now try to see URL, cookies, errors, and console. So let's try it and see what is happening with my URL. So under URL, there's nothing present, just the web page, the name of the web page. Under errors also, I'm not able to see much details here. Let's go ahead and open our console. Go to web developer, open web console. Try to see what is happening under console, and I am not able to see much details under console too. Then let's open storage. Let's try to see what is happening under cookies. So I can see that there is a PHP session ID here, and there is a value for the cookie, but again nothing as such is visible with the cookies too. So we are not able to figure out much details by looking at these four things. Let's go ahead, let's try our third step, try to see the page source. So now let's go ahead and see the page source. Under page source, what are the main things which you want to see? Scripts, then you want to see other pages, then you want to see the input tags. Those are the three major things I want to see across under my page source. Let's go ahead and let's do that. So view page source. Now under page source, I am able to notice that there is a script running here, html5.js. So I can note this down and see across what is happening under this script. After that, I see that there are many different web pages available. So I can again go ahead and note them down if I want to try some kind of hacking on top of them. So I can just see across what is happening across with these web pages. Then I see across the input tags. So this is the form which is available, and under this I have these input tags. So if you see across, this is the main thing which is running here, the login and the password. So I have a label with login, I have a label for password, but wait, I am able to see something different here. There is something present which is font color white with Tony Stark and font color white with I am Iron Man, but this is not visible here. So this is something which is present here. So let's just try this. Let's just copy this from here, paste it here, and copy this from here and paste it here. Let's try to log in, and tada, I'm able to log in. I am getting a successful login. How this happened? This is the process which is under broken authentication. The developer has made a mistake that he has hard coded the credentials within the website, and it's a very normal functioning by developers. They always do that they don't want to actually go and log in again and again while they are developing the web application. So they will do something like they are just hard coding the credentials or setting up a flag. And once you go into the production server, they will actually forget that this has happened. And that's why these login credentials are available here. And as an ethical hacker, just following these three simple steps, just seeing up what is the functioning, what are the different things, what are the whole process, how the whole process is working, I'm able to figure out that there is something wrong, and this is the main thing which is present, so I can easily now access the system. So that's our first demonstration regarding broken authentication for login forms. How to mitigate this? So you should always have a peer review process or a quality check process available. So before going into the production, the other peers are able to review the code. You can also use some kind of code analyzers. There are lot many code analyzers available in the market. One of the famous one which I used to work with was known as Fortify. So this is the code analyzer which is mostly related to that. You pass the code to it and it will analyze whether you have any kind of vulnerabilities available or not. So you can go ahead again use Fortify application for security testing. So these are some of the main things which you can do to mitigate such kind of hard-coded credentials. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's try out our second demonstration here. SQL injection with blind. So yesterday when we had our session, we saw one of the process regarding SQL injection. The main thing there was, you remember that what was happening, that we tried the happy cycle, we tried the URL errors and consoles. Let's try the same here. Search for a movie, let's try something. Batman. Okay, so it's not giving me Batman here. Let's try to see the URL, cookies, error and consoles if there is something present with the system. So if I see URL, I'm just getting the title and action here. So that means I can directly go and change the title here and then press enter to do something here, which is available in the plain text. So I could do something with this. With the error, I am not able to see the error as much describing anything here, so won't be able to do that much here. Let's go and open our web developer, then go to our web console, try to see what is happening under console. There is no error under console. Go to storage, see the cookies. Cookies are also present just fine. So this is a base encoded cookie which is present here. So I'm not able to figure out much information from such end. Let's do the third thing. Let's try to see the page source. What is happening here? So view page source. So under page source, I can see there are some scripts present. I can go ahead and just look at the script here. Then I also have the various other pages present. Let's look at the input box here. So input box is this one. So if you notice here, this is the search for a movie with the input box where I am just searching for the movie and then the button. So there is not much details present with such a structure. I'm not able to figure out what is happening and how the whole process is running here. So let's go ahead. Let's try SQL injection now. So if you remember yesterday how we tried the SQL injection, you try special characters for SQL injection. So what are these special characters? This is single quote, double quote, this one, double hyphen and double pound. So these are the different characters I can go ahead and try. So let's try the first one. What is happening here? Let's try here. And it gives me incorrect syntax detected. Although it has not given me a proper error related to SQL, but it has given me an incorrect syntax detected. I'm able to see that something has happened behind this, but I'm not actually able to see that what has happened. So as an ethical hacker, now it's my job to figure out what is happening with the system, how the whole system is running, and how I can hack the process and then provide the security, because the error has been modified. So currently, if you take yourself as a white sheet, basically I wanted to say take yourself that you don't know that this application is running on MySQL. You are not able to figure out what this application is using, whether this is using MongoDB, whether it's using MySQL or PostgreSQL. So you are not sure what this application is using. So what the process we can follow? We know that there is something happening behind this, but we are not able to figure out how to approach the same. Search for a movie. What could be a base for search for a movie? The base could be that it's present like select star from movies, where movie name equal to whatever the movie I am passing here. So for our example, let's say I'm passing Batman here. So this could be there. So how should I break this? How should I get much information out of this system? How should I figure out what is happening with the system? If I put like a single quote here instead of the movie name, I'm able to figure out that this is breaking. But I cannot do some kind of a login and password feature here that I go ahead and put or one equals to 1 and then provide a comment here. This will make no sense, because here the whole process is working that you are just searching for a movie and that the result is coming back to you. So it doesn't make sense for me. So how should I go ahead and do the process where I am able to figure out that what is the database which is running behind it, what is the server which is running behind it, what is the name of the database which is running behind it? And that's the process of blind SQL, because I am not able to figure out what is happening behind it. So I will blindly run a SQL injection without seeing that what is the output, and through that I'm going to figure out what is happening with my system. So here I am able to see that Batman was not existing. Let's try to see a normal output which might exist. So let's search for Joker. So this movie does not exist again. Let's try Iron Man, whether Iron Man is available or not. Let's try to run Iron Man. All right. So Iron Man is existing behind my system. So I'm able to figure out that Iron Man, if I search this, this is present with my current system and it's giving me that this movie exists. So this is the first thing I have figured out, that Iron Man is the correct input. So if we put Iron Man here, this is the correct input for me. All right. So now if I go ahead and do something like this, if I just put after Iron Man a single quote and provide and 1 equals to 1 and then provide a comment sign. So I'm trying to figure out what is happening with the system. So I have changed my output from just the Iron Man to Iron Man and 1 equal to 1. So what is this select statement again? This select statement is true. So it should give me true here. This should give me that the movie is present, because I'm searching for Iron Man and 1 equal to 1. So both are true, because Iron Man is present inside the table and 1 equal to 1 is also true. So if I run this, it should give me that the movie exists here. So run this, search. This give me the movie exists. So I'm able to figure out that if I run this, this is a true statement, and I'm able to see that this is there. But you cannot be sure that this is true. So let's just verify this. Let's try to run a false statement here. What if I change this to 1 equal to 2? So now what is happening? If I have select star from movies, where movie name equal to Iron Man and 1 equal to 2, so this becomes a false statement. Although this is present, but this and 1 equal to 2 will make this as a false statement. So I should get that movie does not exist in the system if I'm running this kind of statement here. So let's try this, search, and it gives me the movie does not exist. So I'm on the right track. I'm able to figure out that if I pass this and if I pass this, I'm able to see that what is happening with my system and how the whole system is going to work here. So now let's try, go ahead, let's try to do something here. First step, let's try to figure out the version of MySQL. So I'm in blind right now. I'm not sure that this is MySQL, but let's try to do that. Let's try to see whether I'm getting some kind of output with the version for MySQL or not. So currently I'm running this kind of input here. So let's change this input again. So start with Iron Man again. This is the correct input which I have right now. And with this, let's pass something, and I know under MySQL there is a function which is known as substring. So I'm going to use that one. So let's just do this. So and then pass across here substring. What is substring? Substring is basically getting a value out of the string. So right now what I'm trying to see, that I'm trying to figure out that what is present under the MySQL. So what is going to happen now? What is the version present with the MySQL? So under substring, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass across that what I'm trying to figure out here. So mainly what is the input for substring, that I need to pass the string, I need to pass in the start value and the number of steps what we want to search for. So here the string which we are searching is version. So version is a function under this. The start value is the first one and the number of steps is the first one. So I'm trying to search this across, and let's check whether this equal to 4. So I'm just trying to see whether the version of MySQL is equal to 4. So what I'm searching is Iron Man and substring, then passing in the whole thing, and finally providing the comment here using the pound sign. So let's try to search this one now. So let's try figuring out the version, see what is happening with this. So paste it here, and this says the movie does not exist. So that means this version is not equal to 4 because this is not matching. Let's try to increase the version. Let's try to put version equals to 5 now. Let's try to see what is happening with this. Go ahead, copy this, paste this here, search, and it says the movie exists. So I'm getting something, I'm getting some output. That means this version which I'm trying to search is actually true. So Iron Man is already true, but the second part, this part is true. That's why I'm getting the output there. So I'm able to figure out that the version of SQL, MySQL, which is running there is actually 5. So this application is running MySQL version 5 now. So that's the second thing which I have figured out just by doing a guessing game. So blind SQL is just a kind of like a guessing game for ethical hacker. I'm not able to see what is happening behind it, but I'm able to figure out much of the stuff with the system. I'm able to see how the whole process works and how the different things work with the system. So next thing, let's try to do one more thing here. Let's try to guess the DB name length. So let's try to see what is the length of the database name here, which is running behind my system. Let's try to figure that out and see how the whole system works. So again here, I'm going to keep this same because this is the true statement and provide this here. Finally, I'm going to just change this one here. So here I'm going to run across, let's say length here. So I know there is a function known as length, and under this, let's pass database. So I'm going to get the length here, and let's check what is the length here. Is it equal to 1? So try to run this. Let's just copy this here, go back here, search this, and this is not equal to 1. Let's modify this to try to search this, not equal to 2, again 3, try it again here, nothing. Then let's try 4, again I'm not able to get anything. Let's try 5, and I'm able to get the movie exist. So that means again I'm able to verify that if I just search across this one, so this one is already true, but we are trying is that after end the things are true or not. So here if I run across length equal to 5, that means this statement becomes true, and now we can go ahead and just put this, and we can be sure that the database name length is equals to 5. So this is just one of the things which we can do, and this is known as blind SQL injection. So I am not able to see that what is actually happening behind the system, but the thing is that I am able to notice that how the whole process is working, and through that I'm able to figure out much of the stuff. So this was just an example. You can now go ahead and do a 7 step where you, let's try to guess the DB name. So if you try to guess the DB name, how you will go ahead and do that? Again, I know that this one is already true, the Iron Man one. I will keep it as such and is going to be there. So now to guess the DB name, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this database which I have passed across in the 5 here. So let's do a substring, and under substring pass the string which we want. This is the database, and then I'm going to pass 1 and 1. It says the movie exists, so that means the first letter of DB here is actually B. So if I start across, if I run this one, then I'm able to see that the first letter into C. So this is a blind SQL process. It actually takes a lot time, but the thing is that without even actually hacking the system, you are able to figure out all the stuff. Once you have figured out most of the stuff, you can go ahead and run some sophisticated attack. If I know their database name, I can go ahead and do some kind of like brute force attack on the SQL, or I can do some other attacks on top of that. So let's try to see what is the first letter of database. So A, it says the movie does not exist. So then B, search again. This says the movie exists. So that means the first letter of DB here is actually B. So if I start across, if I run this one, then I'm able to see that the first letter is B here. Let's just put this here. Now after this, you can go ahead and try the second letter of DB here. And how to guess the second letter of DB? Again, keep this much string. Then you are going to run across the substring again. And inside the substring, now keep on modifying that. This is reading from the first letter. Now read from the second letter. And again, start from A and try to see that what is the name of the DB. So I'm not going to actually do the whole process right now. It will take us a lot of time to actually see the whole process. But this is just a base example of how a blind SQL injection might be carried out, and how being an ethical hacker will help you try to resolve such kind of things. And why this thing is happening? Because this input box is not actually sanitized. We have to provide some kind of whitelisting, blacklisting, and through blacklisting we need to make sure that some kind of input characters like this one or this one, these are not allowed in the system. So you have to make sure that this is present with your application. So that was another example for BWAP. Let's try to do one last example, a very small one. So this one is known as cross-site scripting. So you guys might have heard about cross-site scripting. In the last lecture, I also talked about the same. So what is cross-site scripting? That you are trying to run some kind of script over the system. There are two types of cross-site scripting. One is known as a reflected cross-site scripting. The other one is known as a stored cross-site scripting. So under the reflected cross-site scripting, you will be actually attacking the server. So you will get some information out of the server. Under stored cross-site scripting, you will store the script within some kind of storage, and through that you will get the inputs. So here we have just again a normal feature, first name, last name, and there is a go button. Let's try out. Let's do the happy cycle, the first thing. So admin. So that means